My first experience with the Yakuza series was Yakuza 0, which I absolutely adored, and I loved the two entries that came out after that as well, Kiwami 1 and Yakuza 6. But one thing you'll often hear from longtime fans of the series is just how good Yakuza 2 is, and seeing as Kiwami 2 is a remake of 2, I was thrilled to finally get my hands on it. The big question is, does it live up to those lofty expectations? For the time being, I can only talk about and show you footage from the first 4 chapters of the game. I'll be able to post a full review in exactly 1 week's time, so this video is going to be relatively short, mainly because I want to talk about so much stuff that comes out after chapter 4. Now going back to my intro question, does it live up to expectations? I would say unequivocally yes. I really loved the other 3 Yakuza games I've played, but I've never been quite this obsessed with one until now. I put 35 hours into this game in the first 4 days. I obsessively completed every side quest every time they became available, and I even completed a couple of the really in-depth minigames, like managing a cabaret club, as soon as the game allowed me to. I'm not a completionist type, though I have been known to do a lot of side content in games I like, but it wasn't an easy thing in Yakuza Kiwami 2 because the main story is also really good. You almost don't want to take time away from it to do all this awesome side content and minigame stuff. Some of the side quests are just as quirky as ever, like you might hear a noise coming from a public toilet and then be reeled into buying new pants for a guy who's had a little accident. And there is of course a very adult-centric minigame, and while I don't think it comes close to how unbelievably funny the live chat minigame is in Yakuza 6, this photography one can also produce a few laughs. One thing that did bother me was a slight delay when starting battles. I'm pretty sure it's a bug because in all the other Yakuza games I've played this has been pretty spot on. In Kiwami 2 though, it can often take several seconds of you literally standing in the middle of a group of enemies before you get the battle intro. Hopefully this will be tightened up in the inevitable Day 1 patch. As for the remake itself, the game looks fantastic. I think the Yakuza art and graphic style is often underrated. It gives real character to the people in the game. Using the Yakuza 6 engine here has really brought the look of the game forward. The one thing it didn't do though was bring the animations quite forward enough. They do look a little stiff and dated at times, but it was far from a real problem. It's just something you might notice. It is still a remake of a PS2 game after all. Finally, I just want to really stress to everyone how good the Yakuza series is. I am a latecomer. My first was Yakuza 0, and the reason I'm a latecomer is because I'd heard all the garbage and falsehoods that really don't do the game justice. It somehow has this reputation of being Grand Theft Auto but set in Japan, but it just isn't. It is almost nothing like GTA. I find the Yakuza series to be much closer to an amazing JRPG than anything else. The battle system might be more of a beat 'em up, but everything else from the character-driven narrative to the unique story-driven side quests to the extensive list of minigames and side content that could easily be an entire game on their own just screams RPG. If you aren't playing Yakuza yet, you'd need to give it a go. Thanks for liking, subscribing and sharing, and I'll see you all soon.